Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Welcome back.
Yes, this is strange, guys. And scientists, of course, they have a reason for this. But Asteroid Apophis. Now, Apophis is one we've been watching. Everybody's been watching if you've been watching asteroids. Apophis is the destroyer, by the way. That's quite a name they have for this pretty good sized asteroid.
It is a pretty good size asteroid and it's speeding up.
Yeah, it's speeding up as scientists are recalculating the odds of a 2068 impact. So they say there is a chance it could impact in 2068, and it's also coming really close in 2029.
And it's pretty big, so that close call in 2029, well, that could be a little too close.
So why is it speeding up and why is its orbit changing? Well, yeah, okay. Well, the astronomers, they say we got to keep an eye on this and it see how much of a danger it could really be. They say don't panic. The odds of impact are still very low. They say under certain circumstances the sun can heat an asteroid unevenly, causing the space rock to radiate away heat energy asymmetrically. The result can be tiny push in a certain direction, an effect called Yarkovsky acceleration, which can change the path of an asteroid through space. Since astronomers hadn't measured this solar push on Apophis before, they didn't take it into consideration when calculating the threat the asteroid poses to us in 2068. The previous calculation showed a tiny impact probability, about 1 in 150,000. Well, that's still significant, really, when you look at the bigger scheme of things and all the asteroids that come by throughout time, especially when you take in, the size of this thing. It's 1,120 feet wide. So if this thing did impact, I mean, well, for one, it probably would make it to the surface
Yes, it probably would.
and get you thinking about the movie Greenland.
Right.
Did that movie come out yet?
I think it did. We have to watch it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch it. I wonder if any of you guys saw Greenland out there. So a 2068 impact scenario is still in play. We need to track this very carefully. Fortunately, the asteroid will make a close but still safe approach to our planet in 2029, allowing ground-based telescopes, including Arecibo, to get a more detailed look at the asteroid's surface and shape. And it'll be so close it'll be visible with the naked eye at third magnitude, about as bright as the binary star Cor Caroli. Of all those dates, Friday the 13th in April, oh boy,
Wow.
here you go. Friday the 13th, 2029 is when the flyby will occur. So, wow.
I know, and how can they put the words close and safe in the same sentence?
Yeah, especially, I mean, it's coming on a Friday the 13th. You can't make these things up.
No.
They named it Apophis, the destroyer,
Yeah.
right? This is from Egyptian mythology.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, I mean, we have Uamuamua, which comes in and slingshots and changes direction. And then we have an asteroid now that's kind of moving itself,
Yeah.
which direction? Towards a more likely impact or a less likely impact?
Who knows?
Now, as we've said before, too, we know certain classifications of civilizations on the Kardashev scale will have a lot of technology that would make us, look like ants
Yeah.
in comparison. So, nudging an asteroid one way or another, I don't think would be a big deal, even probably for us when you get down to it right now.
I'm thinking so with the kind of laser technology that they don't admit that they have. Yeah.
Yeah, and by 2068, I would think that we would be able to just, aim, fire, poofed.
I think so.
Yeah. So what's really going on then? And we have asteroid 2020 VP1 flew past the Earth at 0.48 lunar distance. So another close one, half the lunar distance. There was an article in Russia today that was talking about three killer, asteroids coming close to us. And again, lunar distance is like 239,000 miles roughly. But they were talking like 5 million kilometers, 7 million kilometers. So I didn't even report on it because it's not news.
Right.
When we're going to have over 100 come within a lunar distance, we're talking, you know, less than 239,000 miles, it's not news when things are passing by, 2-3 million miles away.
Right. No, it's not.
So this one, though, I think is number 88 or 89, if they're going to tell us. Oh, no, we're up to 90. 90th known asteroid to fly by Earth within one lunar distance since the start of the year. 4th so far this month. So, yeah, we'll probably get that 100 mark. It's been busy out there.
It has.
And I'm hoping that the sound is good because we have so much stuff we're talking about on this Earth change video that we have to use the big computer, which is the one that sometimes gets played with the sound settings. So hopefully the sound is good, and if it's not, I hope everybody will forgive us.
Yes, forgive us, and thanks for hanging.
So research suggests water is naturally occurring on all rocky planets.
Imagine that. A little more disclosure, possibly, huh?
I mean, we go from thinking, are we alone in this universe? And I think when I was say a kid, go back to being 5 years old 50 years ago, I think the prevailing thought was, I think most people probably thought we were alone. Maybe maybe half might think that there's life out there somewhere. Of course, I'm talking about in the U.S. or, in Europe, in the Western culture. And now all the science that's coming out is letting us know it's obvious we're not alone.
Right, exactly. And it's just this little dribbling disclosure that keeps happening every day.
And even just what we've always been taught, that water perhaps comes to planets in the form of asteroid and comet impacts. Well, there's a line of thinking now that water is a natural byproduct by the processes that go on inside the planet, that it's actually produced by what's happening inside the planet and rises to the surface.
I feel there's some truth starting to come out now.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then obviously there's going to be an abundance of life everywhere you look.
Everywhere. Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at this thinking it's about time.
Yeah, it can make you a little nervous because you could, look at it from the point of view of like, well, they're letting us know all this now, so what do they have in mind? Is it like, well, there's only so many years left before Apophis comes in 2029, so we might as well let them know.
Yeah.
And get some people ready to board Elon's spaceships to Mars.
Yeah, let the cat out of the bag.
We need some more miners over in Mars.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, so, this is all planned. This is all coming out incrementally. But it's obvious, there's been so much good science that's come around, and often from more like lay peoples, because, obviously a layman that gets really interested in these type of things, they're not going to be controlled by, for instance, universities and, perhaps the corporations that are in the government structure that's giving money to these universities to do studies to kind of paint one sort of picture out there.
And that's been the common theme, going as far back as they possibly can to create that theme and that story for us.
So the research is showing that water is going to be out there on rocky planets like the Earth, and of course we've gotten that there's so many different rocky planets just like the Earth, and even some that they say are super habitable, even more conducive to life than the Earth is itself.
Exactly, and it's pretty exciting.
So pretty wild, and the researchers' studies show that there was water on Mars for the first 90 million years of the planet's existence, and I bet you that was a lot longer too.
I bet you.
Yeah, everything that we've been given is it's turning out to be not exactly right.
Right, it's their story.
So this is why I find there's so much value in studying the people of the Indus Valley, the Indus River Valley, because what their take on humanity, the history of this planet, and just how much life is out there is very different than what we've been given in the West. And as I've said before, when you look into the Rig Veda and other books, the Puranas as well, they come straight out and say there's life everywhere. They talk about beings flying around in Vimanas, aerial vehicles. Oh, hey, there they go. They're going off for their honeymoon on Mars.
Right.
I mean, it's right out there that there's different lokas, which are different worlds. Loka means world. And there's different dimensions. And it's right out there in these ancient texts that are thousands and thousands of years old, that we actually live in a multiverse, that even our own universe is just one single cell, one little bubble of life in a huge, incomprehensibly huge multiverse.
Yeah, and to me, this is far more plausible, this story, than what they've shown in our textbooks.
Most definitely. It's just incredible. 432,000 humanoid races. And it's just, there's overwhelming evidence when we look at everything to the fact that, there's always been life here. And so, in the West, it's been pretty cold. And yet we have friends that are out there in the East, in Massachusetts, in Maine, and in Michigan. All three places yesterday, people were telling me that it was 76 degrees and they couldn't believe how warm it was. Meanwhile, we've been at around 28 to 30.
Yeah, it's been very odd.
But again, that's what it's about right there, the jet stream, which again, it's about the magnetosphere. And again, it's about the sun.
Yes, and just all these things that they're just now coming out, I think they've known forever.
Most definitely. And it's predictable. It's predictable. This is why we have records going left and right, and why some areas are having tremendous record heat. When you see when we have a stable jet stream, it flows on a somewhat straighter path. And this is what I remember seeing all the time as a kid, little variances here and there. Now we have this going on. And again, it has to do with the magnetic relationship going on between the Earth and the sun. And it's even bigger than that, too. This particular change that we're in is a really significant one. Many people think this is a 12,000-year cycle that we're talking about right here, which is a huge cycle. But it's interesting, too, because, if you look at the precession of the equinoxes, which are 25,900 something odd years, we come to this halfway point about every 12,500 years. And so we make this loop. The sun's making the loop around a certain area in the galaxy, and we're exposed to different energies as we go throughout this orbit. And so we keep coming back. It's like, you could look at it as a circle, but it's really more of a spiral. And of course, the DNA is a spiral. There's so many things that are so interconnected, as above, so below.
Yes, absolutely.
The microcosm and the macrocosm, and all this affects our consciousness as well. So this is really what we have going on here, as we see, in the West, unprecedented snows, record cold, record snows. It's one thing, and then out in the East, it's really abnormally hot. We were talking to Joffrey, who is a family member, and he's in Alabama, and it's like summer still.
Right, and he's out there in short sleeves.
Enjoying it, as we should. So we see out here all these records falling, and some of these are going back 100, 200 years. Great Falls breaks seasonal snowfall records from the 1800s as well. It's part of the times that we're in.
Exactly.
And, just how changeable can it get? Well, I think it could get pretty changeable. Here you see primeval Greenland lake found buried beneath a mile-thick slab of ice. And not only that, they've discovered other streams as well. At one time, Greenland was ice-free. And again, how long ago? Because here they're talking about sometime between hundreds of thousands or even millions of years ago, Greenland was ice-free. Well, why is it called Greenland? Right. Do you think people discovered this and said, oh, wow, there's ice everywhere. Let's call it Greenland.
I know it, Yeah.
It just makes sense, right?
It does.
No, so I think the evidence is there for change and a much more rapid time scale.
I believe that too.
And of course, when we're looking at live science, this is really coming from sources like NASA and NOAA, which are governmental. So they're going to give us, some little things to salivate on, but then, we know that there's still things that they're covering up.
Yeah, they control all the information coming out.
And looking over into New Zealand, we see Napier under state of emergency, heaviest rain in 57 years. Water everywhere.
Yeah, pray for these folks.
Yeah, let's do that. We have extremes, and that's what we're going to keep having for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, we will.
So you got 9.5 inches of rain, triggering damaging floods, landslides, power outages, affected more than 3,300 homes on Monday. And the amount of rain that fell in a 12-hour period to Tuesday made for some of the city's wettest days since 1963. And, this is, again, 25-year plus records going, over 50-year plus. And we have subtropical storm Theta forming as the record-breaking 29th named storm of the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. And while we're looking at that record, let me just jump over, because Wages World, Mark hit me up yesterday and said, look at my video today, and he was showing some sparkling cloud tops that were really, really unusual when we were talking about Eta, tropical storm Eta, which may become a Cat 1 hurricane, we'll see, before landfall. And all the models yesterday were flowing towards the west. And then we wake up and all of a sudden, nope, it's going back inland. It's going to Florida. It's going to land somewhere north of Tampa. So, interesting, because he had never seen like that type of sparkling going on up there. Is it related to everything we're talking about, cosmic rays, magnetosphere decline, or is it something else? Is it technological?
Yeah, is it something steering this?
So we see the track, yeah. So if you're in Florida, be aware of this, especially if you're living around Tampa north up to the Panhandle. These things can change on a drop of a hat now. And again, we don't want to ever let down our guard nowadays, because we've seen rapid intensification. We've seen storms take right angle turns.
Yeah, we have. That's scary.
We've seen things that were projected as we look at the watches and warnings area, things that were projected to happen, not even be close, right. just like election results.
Yeah, very concerning stuff.
It's pretty wild. So here we're looking at the models. So something to be aware of, guys, with that. And we'll jump over, and if we think that the U.S. has had a record season, which it has, look at the Philippines, too. You got people being evacuated as Typhoon Vamco approaches. And this is the 21st tropical storm to hit the Philippines this year. 21 storms this year.
That's insane. Residents
in coastal communities who are expecting up to a 3-meter, a 9-foot storm surge were ordered to leave their homes. And this one has sustained winds of 78 miles an hour, gust up to 155 kilometers per hour. With venture, that's around 90 miles an hour. And we are just 1% into our recovery, and here comes another typhoon. So says the governor of a province there. Talk about getting beaten up, but that's what's been happening. It's just been that way. And here we see severe flooding affects more than 83,000 people in the Republic of the Congo. We have some family members that are over in Uganda, and I know they've been having a really rough time. Robert is their friend that runs an orphanage there, and things aren't good. Food is lacking. Things have been so soaked from the floods that come in. A lot of the kids are getting sick.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for them.
So, let's send our love and prayers, because this is all adding to that. It's adding to the suffering. It's adding to the food shortages. And Ethiopia battles the worst locust plague in 25 years. We've seen locusts all over.
Oh, yuck.
It's been one thing after the other. And we got some major Stromboli volcanic eruption events going on in Italy, as you could see some of these explosive events.
That's insane.
Yeah, this one lasted 6 minutes with at least 3 explosions of minor intensity in addition to the big blast. And again, we're looking for more of this to happen as we get deeper and deeper into the cycle, because more cosmic rays interacting with the core of the Earth is going to end up causing a lot more volcanic activity. And Klyuchevskaya, and we see this over in Kamchatka, this is over in Russia, it's been active for 5 days now. erupting.
Wow.
And take a peek, and we see the biggest quake we're looking at right now is the 6.0 over in Tonga, 416.9 kilometers deep, so that's a pretty deep one. We see we got some activity over here, and this is North Macedonia, 5.0, and 4.5, pretty close to where we had the big one over in Turkey-Greece border. And by the way, Azerbaijan and Armenia have a tentative truce. Thankfully, that was an absolutely brutal scene to see all the destruction from above with the drones in today's modern warfare. And Apex, Sparta area here, you see a 1.3. Had activity over there since we had that one a couple months ago. Yeah, 2.4 over here, south of Pittman Center. Just one over on the New Madrid. We have our usual fracking quakes going on over in Oklahoma. These are all on the base over here, Nellis. So, they could just be bomb runs, but they're showing 6.7 kilometers deep. So maybe some, reptilian bases being hit. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see.
So, guys, as always, thank you so much for your support on Patreon and on Ko-Fi, because we could not do it without you. Stay prepared out there. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.